A lot has happened this past week surrounding the murder of Charlie Kirk. We've heard it all. We got him. But did they really? Charlie said this. No, he said that. The media spins one way, the left twists it another, and Americans are left wondering what's actually real. But here's what I want to focus on today. Not the speculation, not the finger pointing. What I want to focus on is what should have happened, but it didn't. This is Pardon the Curiosity. Earlier this week, the House had a chance to come together to honor Charlie Kirk, a man assassinated in cold blood. It should have been simple, a moment for unity, a moment to start the healing process, a moment to rise above politics. But that didn't happen. What happened instead was quite shameful. 58 Democrats voted against honoring him at all. Another 38 shoved their hands in their pockets and sat it out. That's not leadership, that's cowardice. And on top of that, AOC, the poster child of ignorant rhetoric, took to the floor to call him racist, uneducated, and ignorant. She twisted his words about the Civil Rights Act into something he never said. She claimed he thought giving Black Americans the right to vote was a mistake. Friends, that's not history, that's propaganda. First, because the Civil Rights Act of 1964 did not grant voting rights. The 15th Amendment already guaranteed it. And it was the Voting Rights Act of 1965 that tore down the barriers the states were using to suppress Black Americans at the ballot box. But the AOC doesn't care about facts. She cares about optics. She cares about twisting arguments into a weaker version so she can attack them. This is called strawmanning, and it's the hallmark of modern leftist politics. If this is their rising star, if this is the leading contender to carry the Democratic Party forward, if that's the case, then it looks like intelligence is no longer a requirement for the job. And here's what should outrage every American, not just the words, but the absence of something bigger. We all know the word ruthless. It means cruel, merciless, without compassion. That's kind of what we see in politics today. But the forgotten word is ruth. And ruth is the exact opposite. Ruth is compassion. Ruth is mercy. Ruth is grace. Ruth is simple human decency. There was a time when even enemies paused at death, when funerals rose above politics. Think back, Ronald Reagan's funeral. Democrats and Republicans sat together shoulder to shoulder to honor a president, even if they disagreed with his policies. Or John McCain's service. Presidents from both parties stood in the same pulpit, laying aside political battles for one day to pay respect. That was Ruth. That was dignity. That was America showing it could grieve together, even in disagreement. But today, the decency's gone. The left has lost Ruth. Even tragedy is turned into political theater. But here's the truth they don't want you to see. America isn't buying it anymore. Hundreds of thousands of people have turned out across every state. Vigils, makeshift memorials, prayers. And yesterday, the funeral itself, a stadium filled to capacity. Overflow crowds outside standing shoulder to shoulder, praying together in peace. It's not hate. That's not division. That's America. And America is waking up. We are no longer listening to their propaganda machine. We are no longer falling for their twisted sound bites. We are seeing through the lies. And friends, it's beautiful. So don't just take my word for it. Go listen for yourself. Hear what Charlie Kirk actually said. Then hit share, drop your thoughts, and spread the truth. Push back against the propaganda machine. Because the only way we win is if more Americans wake up and refuse to be silenced.